So why don't we talk about personality of the Minotaur in general? Their personality is pretty simple.
Yeah, so we can get into like the other side of the more, let's say, not demonic monster type of Minotaur. But if we're talking about the monster Minotaur,
We want to stick with the monster Minotaur because it's simple and there's a ton. I mean, there's so many variations of player Minotaurs. Like there's multiple, so we'll want to save that for another episode.
Right. I mean, there is just one Forgotten Realms one, which is pretty easy. It kind of explains again the backstory of Minotaurs. Like all the other books are like with Magic the Gathering, so that's like different. That's why they're so different. But there's actually a Forgotten Realms one, the lore.
Is it a player character or is it the monster?
It's not a. It's the monster.
Okay.
So it's just lore. So with the monster, so just general background for the monster that we should talk about. So Minotaurs in general, they hate civilization. That's one of your big things for being a personality of the Minotaur. They should be savage, unpredictable, and they should just, they're just chaotic. Very chaotic evil.
Well, they are predictable in their animal,
how
they
fighting,
hunt and fight and stuff like that. But they don't like you and they don't want to associate with you. They just want to eat you. So they're solitary pretty much. And a big thing with them is they don't respect authority, and this has to do with the cult that creates them, which we'll get into. Yes. But they don't respect authority, so they'd be terrible roommates.
Yeah, even bandit lords who capture Minotaurs, it's very hard to enslave the Minotaur race. That's one of the hardest thing. The slave races like the Drow and the Yuan-ti and that stuff. They just don't even try to even enslave the Minotaurs because they know they're gonna start eating people. They do not care. Yeah. They're so hard to control, which we'll get into their backstory. They're also just hungry all the time.
That's true.
They just go out for food most of the time. So they want to be free in food. That's what they really want. Just So basically, their personality: be savage. Just be a crazy person.
Playing a Minotaur, act like you're hunting someone. Yeah. Because you are.
Literally, Yeah. Do you have anything else on their personality?
No, I mean, they really are just a wild animal most of the time. Now, there is a human behind the savagery, but it really doesn't come out in terms of the monster version.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's very hard to determine the monster version between, I know what you're saying about the playable race. Those are completely different. But you can have, we'll talk about this later, but there are some Minotaurs that can actually, hold back.
They can. But that's trying to explain how people can play them, basically. But they are, at their core, a monster.
Yes, they are. So think of them as kind of like werewolves. That's how I kind of think of them. Minotaurs. They're
I could see that.
Except they don't change. They just always stay the beast.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of worse than being a werewolf.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely it's cursed there.
Yeah.
They do have a higher capacity, I'd say, than a werewolf to become more civilized.
Yeah.
Werewolves, they are just werewolves. They're not going to... They have to switch back to become a human. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But when they are in wolf form, they are a wild animal.
Yeah, but...
Depending on which
but Minotaurs are generally wild. So, loner, wild, They can be social. Very rare, though. That'll be part of the fun facts. If they are social, that's a bad time for the players.
Yes, it is.
It's very rare, but it's a bad time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So their motivations.
They battle. That's in food.
Yeah. I would say in terms of the monster version, battle and training, stuff like that isn't really...
Well, not battle, but it's chaos. So they want to hunt. So they want to fight. Yeah. They want to fight things that are worth the prey, right? So they want to fight and they want to eat it. They just want to run up.
I mean, they want to hunt. They want to fight.
Yeah.
I guess when you're saying fight, they also can be motivated purely by anger.
Yeah, they get very angry. You can tick them off. Very easily.
A bull, right? Bulls get angry, they see something, they just want to charge at it. Minotaur would do that too, but the Minotaur will eat you afterwards, which is the difference.
Yeah, kind of scary. Yeah, pretty bad. Yeah. Some other stuff of the monster Minotaur, which is pretty interesting. When they kill you, they'll eat you and stuff, but they will normally take a trophy of you.
Minotaurs will?
Minotaurs take trophies.
Interesting.
They prize trophies. So, for example, since we talk about social Minotaurs are very rare, it's very rare because most of the times if two Minotaurs see each other, they normally kill each other, unless it's for like a mate or anything. Right. They normally kill each other, and when they do, the victor, normally the strongest Minotaur is, it's all about the. If you're fit, you'll survive. Kind of like that. And they'll rip off the left horn, and they'll put it on their center and wear it as a trophy. If they kill, like, a knight, they would probably take their helmet or something like that. If they kill, like, an elf, they'll, like, break his bow or something, take his skull. Like a dwarf, take his beard. They take trophies, but they also, they normally want to eat the person, but as a reminder of their great power and their great achievements in battle, they take trophies, which is pretty interesting. So they're kind of like predators.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they're kind of like predators, but they eat you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh, you mean predators as in Predator versus Alien?
Yeah. The predator. Yeah. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah. Okay. So food, anger, trophy hunting, I guess. And
sometimes, yeah.
And then also, just spite / evil, because they are evil characters, and they're created by an evil deity.
Yeah, they're created by demons. Demons are just killing.
And I say spite because, again, we'll get into the backstory, but they're created from a human or some race, and they will miss being that race. They can, in the back of their mind, be like, I'm cursed right now. And so when they see a person, they could be spiteful in that, like, I miss being a person. I want them to hurt like I've hurt. I'm going to kill them.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's more of a background motivation, but it is there.
Is that rare, though? Or because, I thought most of the Minotaurs who become Minotaurs, they, praise Baphomet, which is the deity, by the way, the demon lord of the Horned King. We'll talk about him in another episode. But Baphomet's the guy that makes you a Minotaur. He's literally a demon lord. He's not, he wasn't a person. He's just a big Minotaur. He's about 15 feet tall. He's huge, but he's a very big demon Minotaur.
Well, we keep referring to their background. Why don't we just explain it?
Okay, yeah. So we'll explain it. So do you want to explain? Or do you want me to? I kind of know.
Yeah, I know too, but go ahead.
All right. So basically, there is the abyss, which are multiple layers where demons go. By the way, demons and devils are different. They hate each other. But on the point, so demons that are very chaotic, they just like killing things. Okay. So there's a hierarchy. There's kind of like the pyramid of the social structure of demons. The highest that you can be is a demon lord. Above the demon lord is the demon prince, the prince of demons, which is the Demogorgon. We'll talk about him. But Baphomet is the demon lord. So he's basically this big Minotaur. So he's the demon lord of savagery and freedom. His main thing that he hates is civilization. He hates civilization. So when followers of Baphomet, once they begin to follow him, they're normally humans. It's pretty rare to see dwarves and elves, mostly humans. So they'll start hunting animals in his name. So they're like good hunters. But then they'll start hunting humans. That's why they get their flesh as a Minotaur.
And their whole ideology is that they're trying to separate themselves
from society.
Yeah. It's like we are all beasts at our core, and so we should embrace that beast part of us and just become the beast.
No, that's actually perfect.
Yeah.
And Baphomet will gift these cultists the gift of the Minotaur, and then they'll become full-blood Minotaurs. So this is just a little fun fact, but I know we're not talking about player races of Minotaurs, but if you took the monster Minotaur and put it side by side by a player one, the monster Minotaur would absolutely destroy the player. Yeah, they're actually demonic. They have demon blood in them. So if Baphomet makes someone a Minotaur, they are the monster Minotaur. They're the ones that are loners that go in the labyrinth. They eat. They're just beasts.
They're evil.
Very beast-like.
And there's explanations on why those are different. But
which we can actually get into, which is actually pretty simple. But so the monster Minotaur, if he takes someone and Baphomet turns him to a Minotaur, he is the beast. Now will only be the beast. So normally Baphomet, he will ask for a blood sacrifice of the hunt, and all those people will participate in the hunt of a loved one. Has to be a loved one, which sucks. Yeah, so you become a Minotaur, and you have to do something awful, like kill a loved one, hunt a loved one. And you become the monster Minotaur, the beast one, basically, which we're talking about the most. But that's kind of like where Minotaurs come from in general.
They're sacrificed by their cult a lot of times.
And also they will sacrifice each other. And when you talked about how some kind of like regret, like or they want to go back to humans, it's really rare, but it can happen too. Because sometimes we'll get into their social structure.
Well, most of the people that become Minotaurs didn't want to. The cult, they like tried to leave the cult. This is like in the Minotaur section of the Monster Manual,
really?
And they tried. Most of the time, it's someone who's like trying to leave the cult or something, and they're like, "Nope, you're sacrificed," and now they become a Minotaur. I don't think Minotaurs really want to be Minotaurs.
I mean, it kind of depends. Normally, it's like a gift that Baphomet gives you.
Well,
but like
according to
Baphomet, well, like what you said, Baphomet can make sacrifice people Minotaurs. So he's like punishing them too. It's a gift and a punishment.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, you're staying with me. Like
Baphomet does consider it a gift because he was basically, the curse was put upon him in a sense.
Yeah.
But he embraced it and found it to be a strength rather than a weakness, and that kind of motivation that he gave himself is kind of what brought him into power as a deity. So I can totally see why he has that opinion of this is a gift, but I don't think most of the people who receive this gift feel it is.
Yeah, so it's really like lycanthropy. Minotaurs are
lycanthropy, yeah.
Yeah, because like some people embrace it or they resist it. So it's kind of like lycanthropy.
I see.
But I kind of feel like it's worse though. But yeah,
it's rough.
Yeah. So do you have anything else on there? Kind of like.
No, in terms of the monster Minotaur, their motivations are pretty primal. Food, being just straight up a demon / evil, and their bull-like anger.
Yeah, so they're just very angry. So that's kind of like their motivations.
Yep.
A little small one that's pretty kind of horrible, but not really funny. So people think, are Minotaurs just always dudes, or can there be females?
That's a good question. Actually, we're about to get into societal structures, so that would be a perfect segue.
Yeah,